So hello, Mina. We hope the discussion we'll be having will serve to open the door for many who are contemplating on how to address their health goals. Would you give us a short description of your health journey prior to coming to Ethos Primary Care?
I would love to. First of all, thank you, Dr. Weiss, and thank you, Asha, for this opportunity to let me share my side of the story and the journey thus far. I was diagnosed with type 1, 1.5 diabetes back in 2015. And since then, I was on a journey to look for a traditional, natural medicine, rather. And I went through many avenues, many doctors, I would say, as much as that I even went and did a virtual program with a doctor in India, in Bangalore, which opened the door to the plant-based diet for me. And that was the first time ever I learned that plant-based diet is the key to almost solving all the problems in your health. So that was an eye-opener back in 2017. Program, and for a year I followed that program, and not having enough communication with them, I was lacking lots of answers. I would send them questions. They were very supportive, nothing, I mean, they were right on. They knew how to help, but it's just not what I was looking for. And so I'm still on a search, and while I'm on a search for a doctor, natural doctor, a plant-based doctor, I came across Mastering Diabetes, which is ran by Cyrus and Robbie. And they really, I mean, they are the ones who gave me all the information that I needed about plant-based diet. And they were offering a retreat in Costa Rica just to help the people with diabetes. And I jumped at it. I was the first one to enroll, and I packed my bags and I went to Costa Rica to be with them for 5 days. And I was hoping I was going to come home with lot more information and a help that I needed, and get my health back on 100%, a harmonious health that I've been waiting for and asking for. And I guess God heard my prayers, and with my luck, who do I meet? Dr. Weiss there. And even more surprising, I was the only one from New Jersey, and he's from New Jersey, which was like a jackpot to me. And for that whole day, I forgot all about my diabetes. Just seeing him, he is so warm and so compassionate. Just looking at him, I thought I was cured. And that was the I came home right there and then. I told Cyrus, I told Dr. Weiss that you are the one. Once, as soon as I get home, I'm making an appointment and coming to you, and you are the one who's going to help me. So this is the journey so far, and this is how I love how universe has orchestrated the whole scene for me to come to Dr. Weiss and Ethos Primary, this establishment, and to meet lovely people. I mean, the entire team at Ethos is just so loving, caring, compassionate, and I don't think I could have ever imagined that something like this ever exists in the medical world.
Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like,
Yeah.
But thank you. I know, you know, it's always like, it's good to hear these thank you for those kind words. Doctor, would you share what, you know, about your initial visit with Mina? How would you?
Yes, well, I can confirm not all my, so all the wonderfulness that was just flowing out of me. I can't confirm that, but I can confirm that I did see this lovely, lovely lady at the wonderful Mastering Diabetes retreat that's run by our friends Robbie and Cyrus. It's an amazing, amazing retreat. And it's so amazing because it's at such a high level, like the highest level I've always thought in the world of of a gathering where diabetics can come together and find out what the foundation really is of being well from diabetes. So I was the medical doctor for that particular retreat, and I met Mina, and I figured, oh my God, why we had to both come to Costa Rica in order for two people from New Jersey to meet each other, right? So that was very surprising. So so at the time, I remember, Mina, I mean, these are my feelings. You seemed to be worried to me. You had worry lines, and your brow was furrowed, because it seemed to me that you wanted so badly to overcome your difficulties. And of all the people there, I thought maybe you more so than anyone else, because you didn't want to be taking medications and insulin. So the tests that we had done there, unfortunately, showed that your pancreas had undergone such severe attacks for many years from your own immune system, right? That from antibodies that were manufactured, that it killed off most of your insulin-making islet cells. Those are the pancreas cells that make the insulin. And for those those who are not familiar with diabetes, you know, we must have that insulin. If a person doesn't have insulin, they will die, correct? We need insulin because the insulin is the director that allows fuel to be burned, sugar to be burned in our cells. And without insulin, we cannot live. And I remember those tests that we got on you showed that you almost had no insulin left after years and years, right? And that the starting of insulin injections into you, not your own insulin, but the injections made, you know, from a pharmaceutical company, were imminent, that they would have to start, because we know people were fearful, we were fearful, that we know what happens to a type, you were going more towards type 1, not 1.5, right? By that time, you talked about how you were 1.5 for those years, but now you are becoming 1. And people who are type 1 diabetes who don't have access to insulin, that's a medical emergency. They end up in the emergency room and hospitalized in the intensive care unit with a life-threatening problem, which is called diabetic ketoacidosis, DKA, where because of lack of insulin, their body breaks down and turns acidic and everything falls apart. So we were thinking about that in you. And in my training, I've taken care of many of these patients, and they're some of the sickest patients you will ever see. And so those are the thoughts we had about you, and that insulin therapy was imminent. And yet, here we are. We're talking to you 1 year later, and you are not taking insulin. Are you?
I'm not taking any insulin at all.
What happened, Mina? You are still alive and well, you're smiling. You don't look like you need the intensive care unit today.
No.
What?
I had made up my mind, Dr. Weiss. Thank you, first of all. That was beautiful, the information that you shared. So that meeting we had in Costa Rica before we both returned to our homes, I had made up my mind that I want to prove to me that if I can do this without the help of insulin, of any type of medications. And I had heard the miracle stories that there are chances like 1 in a million that happens. And I took that challenge. I'm like, what if I am one of those? So I wanted to just prove it to myself. I wanted to give that chance to myself for 1 year. At least at that time, I said, let me try it for 3 months. I didn't want to jump at a whole year. So I took it for 3 months at that time. I returned home, and right away, I came to see you, Dr. Weiss, and we had a lengthy conversation. And I was so determined not to go on any medication. And thankfully, from enough support and motivation and guidance from you, I stayed off of all medications, and I took a challenge to do this on my own by eating my meals, plant-based diet, fully cutting out all fats, and I ate balanced diet. And I made sure that I worked out after every meal just to try it out for the first week to see what happens to my blood glucose after every meal.
So now let me clarify that. So in other words, you eat 3 times a day, but you have 3 workouts per day.
I would rather
That's
say
correct?
4 workouts per day, Dr.
4
Weiss.
workouts per day.
Yes, I do.
But that's impossible, isn't it?
It is
How can
impossible.
somebody, is
Yeah.
that, did you think when you began a year ago, were you scared about this, or did you think you could, did you think that you could do something like this? Eat 3 meals a day and link a workout to each meal, and explain to our listeners why, what does that have to do with controlling blood sugars? We understand that if you eat good food, right, that could help your blood sugars, but why exercise? What does that have to do with blood sugars?
That has to do a lot with the blood glucose, because that means I don't need any insulin in my body to stay where I need to stay in balance with my blood glucose on a daily basis. So working out was an essential part of my daily lifestyle. And I made it a point where I woke up, I worked out, I did meditations, my spiritual practices, including yoga and tapping. Right after I would have my breakfast, and right after breakfast, I'm out. If the weather is great, I'm out running, jogging for 2 miles. If the weather's not good, New Jersey is not always the weather's not in our favor. So my garage is my gym, and I made sure my garage space is completely clean and open. And I would run around like a maniac for almost 20 minutes right after my breakfast. And then after 2 hours, I would measure my blood glucose, and it's within the range. It always fell under 120. So I was very happy at that. And so this went on for the lunchtime and the dinner time. So I would have a lunch, and I am a full-time working, managing my own business. My office is a very small area, but I made sure that that place is also clutter-free, which always is, but I made sure that I have extra space just for me to run around or do my aerobic exercises. And I made sure that I allowed myself another 25 to 30 minutes right after my lunch to do my workouts in the office in the middle of the day.
So in other words, what you're telling us is that, you know, we know that diabetics, right, who are type 1, they have to inject insulin with every meal, right? Bolus insulin
Right.
to get the, or they have to take generally very tightly controlled diabetics. They take a bolus, they take a large dose of insulin once a day, which is long acting, and then they take shorter, smaller doses with every meal. So basically, you're using the exercise as insulin. Is that what you're telling me?
That is my insulin.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking, that she is using that as her beautiful.
Yeah.
And I remember in that first visit when you came back and we were so nicely surprised that I remember at the 3-month visit, you said we were very pleasantly surprised to see how well you were doing. But I remember something you said to me. I asked you, I said, Mina, isn't this so hard? And you said, yes, it is. You
Yes.
told me how hard it was.
Yes, I did say that, Dr. Weiss, and it hasn't been easy, but now it has become my second nature. If I'm not running around, if I'm not moving around after my all meals, I feel like something is awkward in the day. So now it has become a habit, a routine that my body is asking for it too. Right after the meals, I know what I have to do. And until I don't do it, I'm unsettled in the mind. So much so that my son is now in Boston and we are driving there. So I will make sure that my ex and myself were driving at such a time where my lunch is eaten in the car. Then we make a pit stop for 20 minutes where he lets me free and he does what he needs to do, charging the gas, whatever the car. And I'll run around the mini mall or wherever we have stopped. I get back in the car and then we continue driving. So I have designed the whole schedule, my lifestyle this way. And yeah, it's been working great. And right here, doctor, after 1 year later, I am still doing great. And yeah, I did say it was impossible, but it is possible.
It is, but and not only possible, maybe Asha, if you want to say something about this, it's not only possible, but I'm so amazed by the way you talk about not only is it not hard anymore, but it's actually something you're attached to in that you've built this habit of doing this. And it sounds like you're saying you would prefer if somebody could take this away from you and let you relax, you wouldn't like that, right? You prefer to do this.
That is very true. Yes.
What prompts me, Dr. Weiss, is when Mina, if we think back, to the beginning of your journey, how you viewed your relationship with food, and now it's like what I'm hearing from you, it's very different. There's a whole different aspect. So can you give us like that before relationship with food and now relationship with food?
It has changed. It has changed me as a person, the way I look at the food as well now. I look at the food as a healing tool. I will prepare my meals. By the way, I get to eat a lot more foods now than I used to eat. I am eating so many.
People are, by the way, I don't mean to interrupt you. People are always so freaked out about that when they hear plant-based because all they can think of is, oh my God, I have to eat leaves for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Leaves, right? So
Yeah.
now
But
you say you eat more than you ever ate before.
that is exactly right, Dr. Weiss. My entire family is even shocked that I am only eating leaves. They believe they see me as eating leaves, but I am also a person who likes to create my own recipes. So I have come up with so many recipes just using plants and fruits and very little legumes or beans or grains, which they are not a heavy part of my diet. But my vegetables are enormous. I mean, the varieties we get, and I'm eating, I believe, 3 or 4 plates. My son even says, Mom, you are having a treat every single meal. And I said, yes, I have earned it.
You have earned it.
Yeah.
Yes, I have earned it. It's the unbelievable every time. So my relationship with the food is when the food is right in front of me, I feel like I'm communicating directly with my plants and my vegetables to heal me as I consume it. So the relationship is so much spiritual. And with that energy, I feel like the food is also helping me heal.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so that is how I feel about my food now.
Yeah, it's interesting, just connecting. And Meena, I don't know whether you grew up in a very typical Indian culture, or you were more here. You were raised here in US, or you were raised in India.
I came when I was about 20 years old.
Oh,
I
okay.
came, so yeah, a very heavy background in India as well. But over there also the meat or anything was not a heavy consumption of our life because that's the way we lived. And yeah.
It's interesting how, then and now, the food choices change, and you've done a fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll let Dr. Weiss, you
So,
have, yeah.
yes, obviously, Mina, it takes, the casual observer, when they're looking at you, could see, oh my God, what is this crazy person doing? It takes all of this effort, all of this time, all of this energy to construct your life around
Yeah.
this plate of food, this movement, this doing. You're governed and ruled by this. Mina, isn't it easier just to take a prescription and open up the bottle and take a pill? Isn't that easier to do?
I
Why
guess it
not
would.
do it? Why not? And what would you
Yes,
have to say to everyone around you who does do that? Why shouldn't we do that? It seems vastly easier to do.
It is a lot easier, Dr. Weiss. I do not disagree with that, but this was my personal choice, and I knew that this is doable. If you commit to it for something that you would like to achieve in life, it is definitely doable. You just have to reschedule your priorities. Your health is your priority, and to bring your health into the harmony and that state of natural, being all simple, natural, the way universe has created us, we can get to that if you commit to it, and the results are obvious. If I'm getting the results by every meal at the end of 2 hour mark, why shouldn't I do it? It's easily doable. I'm helping my body. It's a natural way of doing it. Why put some artificial stuff in my body to help me?
And I think the thing that you've probably realized is, and I can see, and Asha can see when we look at you, you are glowing with
Thank
energy. You are almost vibrating with a power that comes out of you. And perhaps, and it's not perhaps, it's I know that doesn't exist in from pills and injections of shots.
Yeah. There are a
Right?
lot of
It
side
only
effects,
comes
right,
from
Dr.
that.
Weiss? Dr. Weiss, wouldn't you say there are a lot of side effects when you are on injections or pills, because now you
Always.
have to.
Drugs always come with attached side effects and unexpected outcomes.
That, yes, yes.
So there's always so much, and I want to just have this burning question. By coming to Ethos, what did you hope to achieve? Because and how do you think Ethos Primary Care was a different medical practice? Like, I'm just curious to know your.
Everything that I have achieved, all my reports, Dr. Weiss, he's fully aware from where my health used to be and from where to where I am. It all is due to Ethos help. I mean, I wouldn't have done this on my own. I needed Dr. Weiss and the team to support me and to guide me. And the guidance that I have received, I don't think I would have gotten it anywhere else. So yes, Ethos, the institute has helped me so much to achieve and become the person I have become,
Oh boy.
and
Thank you.
change me into somebody that I am proud of. And so that gratitude and that all credit goes to Dr. Ron Weiss.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely, would just like to add as a team member how passionate, it is an honor to work with him, because when he sees a patient who wants to achieve he'll go to lengths.
That he
He
does.
will go to lengths because he wants to meet you where you are. And that was the best quality about him, that he makes you feel comfortable. Okay, you don't want medication, I'll help you there. You want medication, I'll help you there. So I
I
think,
really wanted to point that out to you, Asha, that Dr. Weiss was in all agreement of what I wanted. I didn't want any medication. He was compassionate enough to listen to me and help me navigate the way where I was comfortable. Excuse me. And yeah, so really genuine care that he took about my case, and he found a way for me to stay firm and follow through. And he's just friendliness, and his vibe, and it's just he's so warm, and as soon as I see him, it's like I forget all my worries, and I just feel so comfortable when I see him. He's
You know,
safe.
thank you for, I'm blushing and embarrassed.
So
Just too wonderful for words. And I don't know what to say. It's like,
you
but
deserve
yeah, I can say this, that often when patients meet with success, they say, oh, it's the wonderful, oh, the doctor, it's the doctor. And the way I see it, the way I view myself, is I'm the messenger. You are the doer.
Yeah.
And to prove this point, I've taken care of nearly 500,000 people in my life. Do you know that as a physician? That's like a city larger than Newark, New Jersey, of people. And I have never come across somebody, and I've never read of somebody who with no insulin, functional insulin levels, could do what you did and survive by your sheer force of dedication. And what I say is, it's the dedication of you and the patient that makes it look like I'm a superstar, but I'm not the superstar. You're the superstar. And your dedication is so high that it has allowed you to climb this highest mountain that even I could not imagine a patient could climb, and you could not imagine it either. And that's why we're going to be so excited to have you joining us on our mountain climbing trip this fall, when we climb up high mountains, because that's the point. We climb up mountains that we think are too high that you can't get up to. It's the metaphor for climbing these high peaks, right? And the other thing I wanted to say is, I'm the voice box, or maybe the talking head, but it's the Ethos team. It's Asha, who is a spirit that guides all of these things, and it's our coaches, and it's Karina, and it's Wendy, and who work hand in hand with the patients, and it's our scribes, and it's our farmers who grow these amazing healing medicines, right, that people eat, and it's the birds that fly overhead and sing their songs here, and it's the rain and the sunshine, and that's what makes me be able to help you.
That's
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you both. I think this discussion is going to be very helpful, Dr. Weiss. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.